Good deal. I do have another one in my pocket. Cool. I guess I'll do a recap of the week. It was an interesting week. Last week having the split, going to Portland State on Thursday and then returning home and playing at home on Saturday. We had some concern that Sac State was actually going to beat us into town on Friday. Thankfully, the weather kicked in and helped us out on that front, so they were a little late getting on Friday. But I think looking back at Thursday, we faced some adversity. There's no doubt about it. At Portland State, it was a little frustrating to not come out of there with the win. We felt like it was an opportunity that we kind of left on the table. But it was a nice, again, lesson for our team about how to prepare and how to execute when we're on the road. And then obviously Sac State on Saturday was a great win. Going 5 sets. It was interesting. We went into that match knowing that we're very similarly statistically matched up with Sac State. And if you look at the box score, I think we're within 1 or 2 of everything of each other throughout that whole match. I think we ended up at 197. They ended up at 195 in terms of hitting percentage. I think we ended up with 10 or 11 blocks, and they ended up with 10 blocks, something like that, and 86 digs to 87 digs, and all kinds of things where we just matched up very evenly, and I think that was reflected in the overall match and the score. So really happy to come out and again, do something in the program that hasn't been done in a long time, beating Sac State for the first time since 2010, so that was great. Rizzo had another great weekend. Tom tells me as I'm walking in, she's over the 1,900 dig threshold now, which is putting her on track to do something pretty spectacular on a national basis of hitting the 2,000 digs, career digs threshold, which not many liberos do in the entire country. I think she's sitting 4th all time at the moment in the Big Sky, and we're only halfway through this conference season, and she's 3rd in the nation still. And so, again, she's leading the team on the floor. She's leading the team in the locker room. She's leading by example in so many areas, and I couldn't be more proud of what she's doing on a nightly basis. So that's kind of my recap of the week, but I guess we're going to spend most of the morning talking about tomorrow. So you guys fire away with your questions.
Well, I want to ask on Saturday, you kind of had to shuffle the lineup. No Evie, Kelsey didn't go, and
Yep.
kind of worked Casey in there as well, and Haley Marcus. Talk a little bit about the lineup switch up.
Yeah, we just some adversity we're facing health-wise. It's not untypical this time of year when we have, we've been grinding for as long as we have. I thought Haley and Casey both stepped in and did really, really amicable jobs, and in terms of, they stepped into their roles and did things that we all know they can do, but they did them on the big stage. And I think one of the really neat stories really there is I think you're all aware of Haley's situation as a freshman. She's a cancer survivor. She had to leave the team mid-season her freshman year with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And to see her step on the court and perform the way she did in her first career start, and something that Casey's very open about that I haven't really talked to you guys about, she had to leave the team mid-semester last year, and she actually had open heart surgery. And so when you look at, it gives me chills just talking about it. When you look at those 2 athletes to step into the roles that they did, having considered the adversity they've faced in their lives, let alone in volleyball, it's a pretty incredible story. Casey is literally 8-9 months out of open heart surgery, and there she is playing Division I volleyball. So it's a pretty incredible thing.
You were able to hit very well up in Missoula the last time. Do you think you'll be able to replicate that?
I sure hope so.
Yeah. What has to happen in order?
Yeah, I think our passing game is the foundation of everything we do, and if we're passing well, and winning that serve pass battle, I'm really confident that we can get our offense firing. I think Montana does some stuff defensively that I think works really well for them, so we're going to have to negate that. But I think we've got some girls who are fired up. I mean, Kat Grizz, you can't help but be on a high when it comes to Kat Grizz and fired up for it. So yeah, I really hope so, and I think we're hoping to have everybody healthy. We'll see. Waiting for some clearances from doctors in the next couple of days, and we'll see what happens.
Aside from the rivalry, just how important is this game at this point in the season?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's it's the first time in my career that we've come to the turn of conference, and we've been over 500. We're 6-4 right now. To continue in that vein and build momentum, it's a critical match. There's no doubt about it. If it was anybody else, it would be just as critical in terms of the big scheme of things. I think when you throw into the brawl of the wild and the the athletic department challenge that we have with them and all those things, it just adds that little extra sauce to it though, and a little bit of extra spice. And but without a doubt, regardless, at this point in the season, every match we play is critical in terms of securing a good seed for the conference tournament. Because there's no team that we've played this year that I'm like, oh man, they're head and shoulders above us. I think the one team that really ran away from us a little bit was Weber State, but we all know internally that we didn't play our best that night. So, getting off to the second half of the season is critical.
Hannah Scott and Kira both had 20-plus kills, career highs. Talk a little bit about their night on Saturday.
Yeah, with the switch in the outside hitter position with Haley going in for Evie, we made a flip at the end of the second or third set. It must have been the end of the third set where we flipped Kira and Haley, just in terms of where they match up in the rotations. And it gave Kira just a lot more freedom just to go bang balls. I mean, that kid is athletic. She's got a whippy arm and hits a heavy ball, as was witnessed. I think Portland State's libero is one of the best in the conference. I think she's top 3 in the conference right now. And the fact that she couldn't handle Kira's heat was evident of the state of mind she was in. So Kira really just shouldered a huge workload. I think she took 50-plus swings that night, which is a big number for us. Typically, we distribute the ball. It's typically 35, 40 swings per hitter, and Kira just shouldered a huge workload and managed it. And then, I think we've been waiting for Hannah to have a breakout. I mean, consistently through the early parts of the season, she was sitting 300-400 consistently, and she just kind of hit a bump in the road there a little bit, and to see her bounce out of that and be able to hit over 300 on the weekend, on Saturday at least, it was really exciting, because we know if we're firing from both sides of the net, in terms of either pin, that we're a really tough team to stop, and then it opens things up for your middles. So just excited about having some firepower, finding their rhythm at the right time.
What do you expect to see out of Montana, just in terms of energy, things like that?
Yeah.
Swept last time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're going to be up for it. There's no doubt. I think what you're going to see is they've got a freshman themselves, number 9, whose name I got to be honest, I have a hard time pronouncing, but she is a phenomenal athlete, and I think for me, she's probably the leading candidate for freshman of the year in the conference, and just the impact she's having on them as a team. And I think she's their emotional leader in a lot of ways. I think you've seen Watkins come back into their rotation, and as a senior, this is going to be her last hurrah with Kat Grez, and she's no doubt going to be up for that as well. So we're expecting heightened emotions. We're expecting a sold-out gym. We're expecting the ultimate kind of volleyball atmosphere for the collegiate level, and I think it's just going to be an exciting night. I can't wait to get after it. So.
Anything else?
Cool.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.